Hey everyone, it's MJ here with another video for you. Today's video is not going to be about keyboards, it's going to be about the water block that I got from my Acer Predator Bifrost A770 graphics card. What I'll do is I'll show you the installation procedure, and during that I'll be mentioning any caveats or anything you need to do differently to what you normally do, and anything that might not look or work 100% as it probably should if it was designed specifically for the card. But at the end of the day, I'll show you how to get it working effectively and efficiently on your custom water loop. So let's just get on with it. And the first thing is to clean up the card, get rid of all the thermal paste, leave it nice and shiny. Now on the water block, you'll see that clearly marked out where you need to put your thermal pads. Now although thermal pads are provided in the box, you'll still need to trim them down and cut them to size and shape. Now, as you go, it's probably a good idea to clean up your fingerprints, because what's on the bottom will be very difficult to clean up later on, and also to check if everything fits nicely. In this case, there are some thermal pads I'm marking out here that are a little bit too thick in this case, and they will cause the PCB to bend when you screw down tightly. So don't put thermal pads in these spots, and instead use thermal paste. Now I found it easier to remove this plate, so we have a little bit more space and a little bit more maneuverability for the water block. And you'll actually notice here that there is already thermal paste on the GPU at this point. Don't forget that step. So yeah, line everything up, ready to put the screws in a cross pattern. Just make sure you check the fit and you check that everything's making contact as you go. The last thing you want is to get it all finished, figure out that something's wrong, and having to redo the whole process. But it's good to check up frequently. Now, when we move on to the back, we're going to have to do the same thing we did on the front. We're going to have to cut up some thermal pads, place them on the components that originally had that ugly red thermal grease from factory. Now, once you're sorted with the thermal pads, you need to apply some of the provided screws between the PCB and the water block. The most important of these are the ones around the VRMs. Now, once that's done, you can put the back plate on and just check that everything is making contact. In my specific case, I don't know if it was because of my graphics card or because the water block is intended for another model of graphics card, the back of the GPU was not making contact even with with the thermal pads being as thick as they are. So what I had to do, and this isn't recommended, but well, it seems to be working fine, is I actually added a double layer of thermal pads. So in your case, you know, your mileage may vary, but if you have the same problem, then that's probably the way to go. Part of this problem is because you can't actually apply all of the screws to the backplate. Now I'll show you now what I mean. Now these 4 screws will not really line up properly, so they won't be able to apply any pressure to backplate. And with that, you're done. You just have to hook it up to the water loop. Well, there you go. I hope that was helpful and useful. The water block is intended for the Gunnir Flux 8 gig card, which is very different to the Bifrost. However, as you can see, the dimensions are similar. Most of the screws line up, and it's the closest water block we have for the Predator. So, summing up, there are a few things you need to take care of, namely the screws and the thickness of the thermal pads. But ultimately it works nicely. I mean, with a room temperature of 27 degrees Celsius, gaming for hours, I get to a maximum temperature of around 47, but usually it's actually 45. So I've never actually exceeded 47 to this point. Now, obviously, when you hook up a new card, there might be bubbles in the system. You have to get rid of them first, but temperature should improve after that. Anyway, that's all from me for now. I hope this was useful. If you have any questions, you know, feel free to ask down below, and I'll be happy to help out. In the meantime, take care and stay safe.